Ralph Oakenquist will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ralph. I will now call on Patrick O'Sullivan, the town clerk, to read the notice of the special town meeting.
Notice of special town meeting. Notice is hereby given to the legal voters and those persons qualified to vote in town meetings of the town of Orange that a special town meeting of said town will be held on Wednesday, August 12, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. in the gymnasium, High Plains Community Center, 525 Orange Center Road, Orange, Connecticut, for the purpose of taking action at that time on the following matters. 1, to approve pursuant to section 13A-49 of the Connecticut General Statutes and other applicable laws, the abandonment by the Board of Selectmen of a portion of Neiman Street. The abandonment was voted on by the Board of Selectmen on April 1st, 2020, at the request of Gyroscope Development Group, LLC. The legal description of the land to be abandoned and the maps are available for review in the office of the town clerk. 2, to consider an act on the abandonment of a turnaround portion of a cul-de-sac depicted on map 765, which portion was discontinued as part of the public right-of-way as a result of the November 18th, 1970 decision of the Orange Town Planning and Zoning Commission. Approval to extend Midland Drive, but not formally abandoned. Dated Orange, Connecticut, the 4th day of August, 2020, and signed by the Board of Selectmen, James M. Zioli, First Selectman, Margaret Novicki, Ralph Oakenquist, John Carangelo, Mitch Goldblatt, and Judy Wright Williams. It's attested by myself. Mr. Moderator, it should be noted for the record that the warning of the notice of the town meeting was posted on the signpost out front of the town hall, and that the notice was published in the New Haven Register, a newspaper having circulation in the town on August 7th.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's see, is there one other thing? Yes. Mr. Moderator, pursuant to Robert's Rules of Order and Meeting Conduct, I call for the orders of the day.
Okay. Here are the orders of the day. We will discuss and vote on items number 1 and item number 2 in that order. And if you wish to speak, you may speak on any item, but you need to state your name and address, and you may speak for 2 minutes at the podium over here. So I need a motion to begin discussion of item number 1, to approve pursuant to section 13A-49 of the Connecticut General Statutes and other applicable laws, the abandonment by the Board of Selectmen of a portion of Neiman Street. The abandonment was voted on by the Board of Selectmen on April 1st, 2020 at the request of Gyroscope Development Group, LLC, and the legal description of the land to be abandoned and maps have been made available in the office of the town clerk. Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
No, all in favor?
We have discussion. Please come to the podium.
Paul Davis, 335 Smith Farm Road. I have a couple of questions and ask for a little bit of a clarification. Item number 1, Gyroscope Development Group, LLC, is not the current owner of the adjacent property. How is it that they are going to benefit by the abandonment?
They have the property under contract for a proposed 48-unit development. And so at their request, as part of their contract, I believe with their purchaser, that's between them, they've requested the abandonment half which would go to them and half which would go to the adjoining owner, which is the Casa Creos, I believe. That's normally how we've done it in the past, it's 50/50 unless they have an agreement on the side that I'm unaware of.
Yeah, I do believe they do, and I am aware of that. Secondly, currently, the Town Plan and Zoning Commission has not voted on approval of this plan. What happens if the plan is not approved?
The property would stay with the Kravitz family and presuming, if they didn't exercise their contract, the split would then stay 50/50 with Kravitz and Casa Creel,
All right.
would be my belief.
So the next question, is there any specific time limit that they have to get this plan approved?
Their zoning plan,
No, the development plan.
I believe they're before, they went through wetlands, I believe they're in zoning right now.
They were on last night.
Yeah, but I don't think anything was discussed because of
Right.
the nature of the,
It was scheduled originally for Tuesday night, the night of the storm. That public hearing was rescheduled for last night, but then adjourned without any action because there was a concern about public notice.
Right.
So it's going to be publicly noticed and be held, I believe, at the end of August.
Okay. And finally, I am also aware that they have a request for funding that will come up later on after they get all the approvals from the town.
government
my
funding.
question
Government
relates-
funding, not Town of Orange funding.
Right. But my question relates once again is, it may be a year or 2 years or 3 years before the funding even becomes available. So how long would it be, or do we, after 6 months or a year?
There's a five-year window on zoning approval.
Okay. All right. Those are my questions. I have no objection. I just want to
Now,
clarify.
it could move quickly, or it could move slowly, depending on that government funding.
Right.
Yeah, it's similar to the government funding that the town utilized back when they built Silverbrook, or not Silverbrook, Sumoros, what do you call it? Is that Silverbrook Apart
yeah.
Congregate?
Yeah.
You're right, yes. Similar to that.
Okay. Thank you.
Do we have anybody else who would like to speak?
Hi, Susan Riccio, 460 Clark Lane, Orange. I also have a question. Is if this is not approved, will the developer still be able to move forward?
No.
I think if the road abandonment is not approved, if the road abandonment is not approved, they would probably have to move and wiggle structures a little bit, but I think it would probably, the piece of ground that we're discussing for abandonment, to the best of my knowledge from early discussions on this, is going to be their entryway into the development. So they would probably have to move a little bit of engineering, probably to the left, I will say, in order to gain the extra feet.
What's the size of the property?
It's a 5-acre parcel. Oh, the strip? The strip is, I think, 24 by 180 or something like that.
Okay, my concern is that there's not a lot of people here. We don't have enough for really a quorum, right?
That's suspended by governor's law.
Okay, but we don't have really the voice of the town here. So my concern is that if we vote yes or vote no, are we doing really what the town wants us to be doing right now, first? Second, if we move forward with this, we're basically paving the way for an apartment building to come in that's all ages, that will impact property owners, that will impact our schools, specifically Peck Place School. So I just wanted to make sure that we're all understanding that if this would go forward either way, that's fine, but I don't know that people really know that this is happening, and that's my biggest concern.
I understand that, and I think the bigger concern with your question would really fall to the zoning hearings. More so. This particular ancient roadway, I guess I'll call it, was probably laid out, Roy, when Paramount Park was probably put in, what was that, the 20s? And currently, it runs from Smith Farm Road in. On one side, it runs behind Orange Fence and Supply and the former Loomis property. And on the other side, it runs alongside the Kravitz property, which I think has probably been for sale for 15, 20 years anyhow.
Right.
So it's been there, and it runs dead end into the side of Hitchcock Plaza. When Hitchcock Plaza was built, it cut off any extension of it to Lindy Street, which I think is where it went originally. So probably part of it was abandoned when they put in Hitchcock Plaza, or maybe before that. And so all that was left was this little unused piece. The rest of it, from Smith Farm Road to Racebrook Road, is all developed and inhabited one end to the other.
Right, that's why I started with, if we said no to this, would it stop them or would it not? And that was my.
I don't think it would stop, no.
All right, well, thank you.
Yep.
Please move to the
Susie?
microphone.
My name is Suzanne Anderson, 174 New Haven Avenue in Orange. I probably should have looked at maps or something. Were maps in the town hall or? Okay, I probably should have done that, but I would be all for it if we can say pro or con, because I was hoping it was for older folks, which we need a place in town. The older I get, I know I'm hoping that the list on other places are quite long, and that I was hoping it was for older folks. But I don't know if that's something that you know, or that's something the zoning meeting decides, but I would be all for it.
In the preliminary meeting, Susie, it was said that it was mixed, young
Yes.
and old, first floor units. It looks like what they built a similar project in Westport, Sasko Bay or something they called it.
Yes.
It looks like individual houses from the front, and their first floor units, and then the second and third floor, or loft floor, whatever you want to call it, is a second unit. And they say they do develop a lot of the first floor units that are ADA, handicap accessible as needed, senior accessible, is what they told us.
Okay,
They also don't rent to college students,
yes,
and it's limited on the number of multi-bedroom units.
okay, so probably that would be a more in-depth at a zoning meeting
Yes.
to describe these things.
Yes. And the
Okay.
developer of the project lives here in town.
Oh, okay.
Is a
Yes.
woman, it's a woman
Yes.
who lives here in town, who is the developer, half of the partnership of the developer of this project.
I see. And does anyone have a map that I could look at later on?
You have
Or
to look at that?
Oh, all
do you
right.
have it? Okay.
Later on, I'll approach. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Any further discussion on item number 1?
Any discussion from the table?
Good.
All right, move to 2.
We need a vote on this. Okay. All in favor of the motion to approve item number 1, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. The ayes have it in the eyes of the chair. The motion passes. We now move to item number 2. So discussion will be on item number 2, to consider and act on the abandonment of the turnaround portion of the cul-de-sac depicted on map number 765, which portion was discontinued as part of the public right-of-way as a result of the November 18, 1970 decision of the Orange Town Plan and Zoning Commission approval to extend Midland Drive, but never formally abandoned. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
May I have a second? Okay. Discussion. Would anybody like to discuss item number 2?
It's just amazing. Other than Marino, it seems like 1970 wasn't that long ago.
Born in 71.
Just saying.
Hearing no further discussion, I am closing discussion, and I will move to the motion. All in favor of approving item number 2 to abandon that cul-de-sac on map number 765, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. There's no other business to come before the town, so at this time, I would like a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.
6:47.